What can I say about the return of Harmony that hasn't already been said? It's a real game changer for MLP. It brought us a story that showed just how close the main six came to losing everything. It gave us some impressive new visuals and hilarious bits of comedy. And of course, we are introduced to Discord, the only character throughout MLP who could possibly be any more chaotic and unpredictable than Pinkie Pie. And it certainly helps that he is voiced by John Delancey, who has already been playing that kind of character for decades. And honestly, he was the reason that I decided to start watching MLP episodes in the first place, so this two-parter gets a few extra points for that fact alone. As the episode begins, we see Miss Cheerilee with some of her students on a field trip to the Canterlot Gardens. They come across the statue of Discord, and the actions of the CMC cause his spirit to awaken. I find this interesting because I'm quite sure that this can't have been the first moment when there was some disharmony happening nearby. Discord has been imprisoned for 1,000 years, and only now does his statue start cracking? I could only guess that at this point, since the elements of harmony had found new bearers, that the prison surrounding Discord would have needed to be reinforced in order to maintain his stone form. The fact that Celestia did not seem to anticipate this does seem a bit puzzling. But this would also suggest that Celestia does not understand everything about how the elements work, even after her very long reign. We get our first look at Discord's chaos as cotton candy clouds begin raining chocolate milk, which causes the corn stalks to start bursting with popcorn and the apples to grow enormous, which in turn starts causing the bunnies to sprout giraffe legs. It's creative moments like this that help me appreciate what the writers and animators can come up with, and this episode has only just started. We get a quick introduction of a few aspects from each of the main six, which helps a great deal for anyone who hasn't met these characters before, along with Twilight talking about how they can overcome any problem if they just stick together. Nice to see that the writers have been able to make a lot of episodes easy to follow, even if you are just starting out. When the main six arrive at Canterlot, Princess Celestia is already pacing with a very worried look. She gives a brief history of Discord, talking about how he had ruled over Equestria in a state of unrest and unhappiness. When Discord makes his first appearance, the mood quickly changes. Celestia shows herself very differently than from what we normally see from her. She seems to have a personal grudge against Discord, and not just from the threat he poses to all of Equestria. I still have to wonder about their history together. We can also see that Discord has already discovered the identities of the new bearers for the elements. He is already showing a great deal of cunning even before we see him spring into action. And that helps a great deal in creating an intimidating character. When we see just how much he is already in control of the situation, we can better appreciate his role as an antagonist in these episodes. Discord presents a riddle that tells where the elements of harmony are hidden. And it's actually a little ironic that Fluttershy says, "Can we go home now?" because that's exactly where the elements ended up. When the main six reach the hedge maze, their wings and horns are removed, and Discord makes a rather over-the-top but still very enjoyable entrance, laughing maniacally with lightning flashing in the background just to see the looks on their faces. And again, Discord shows just how much control he has over the situation with his cunning, separating the main six from each other and exposing their deepest fears and weaknesses one by one. It's rather impressive that Discord had managed to discover how to influence each of the main six, considering that he had never met any of them before. Makes me curious if Discord might have at least a partial ability to read minds. Applejack is convinced that sometimes telling the truth would cause more harm than a lie. A rather interesting concept to try and disprove. Pinkie begins to believe that her friends have been laughing at her antics this whole time. And I am rather intrigued by how quickly Pinkie falls apart when she is being the center of attention for all the wrong reasons. Rarity is presented with an illusion of a diamond that she obsesses over, even to the point where it seems very much like an addiction. And Rainbow Dash is given an impossible choice between abandoning her friends and losing her childhood home. Certainly no easy choice to live with. But with Fluttershy, Discord comes to a dead end. He certainly had the right idea with trying to convince Fluttershy that her friends think so poorly of her. And this is actually reinforced in Season 3 when we see just how quickly her friends start doubting in her abilities. But it is quite admirable that Fluttershy understands her weaknesses and is even confident that her friends would only want the best for her. It shows a lot of faith when Fluttershy is willing to give her friends the benefit of a doubt, even in the face of a master manipulator. The fact that Discord still manages to influence Fluttershy even with just a touch shows that he could have done so with the rest of the main six without any of his games. So we can tell that he ended up doing his games just for fun, rather than out of necessity. I don't know. I think it actually works better if the main six had to make a choice when giving in to Discord's influence. That Discord could not force his will upon them. This scene does serve to move the plot along, but I still think it could have been made a little bit better. Fluttershy would still be able to overcome Discord's subtle words with her confidence, and Discord would still become frustrated to the point of direct action. But instead of just a touch, I would have had Discord looking through Fluttershy's memories, trying to find something he could use, and becoming all the more frustrated when he would keep coming across acts of kindness and compassion. In fact, when he actually does come across memories of anger, Discord would be even more enraged when he discovers that that anger came only in the defense of those she cares for. Almost at the point of giving up, Discord would finally come across what he's been looking for.
You're going to love me!
With a cruel smile on his face, Discord would create an illusion of similar circumstances with her friends, all the while whispering, "They never loved you either." And then, in a moment of heartbreak, Fluttershy would give in to Discord's influence. I believe that would have left a more powerful impact on this episode, as well as give us a deeper look into Fluttershy's worst fears. As the episode comes to a close, we have been given a very in-depth look into Discord's powers, both in the grand and epic, as well as the clever and subtle. He makes for such an enjoyable and memorable performance as an antagonist. And he certainly seems to be the most threatening villain in the series thus far. But all the while we can see that he is enjoying his little games while carrying out his master plan. While many may see Discord as chaos in its purest form, and not particularly evil per se, I'm not quite so sure. His intent is to have fun. His intent is to separate the main six from each other so they will no longer be a threat to him. His intent is to take over Equestria and remake it in his image. This is not pure chaos, as it is benefiting what Discord wants, and thus we can determine for ourselves whether his actions are good or evil. I for one would agree that he is not completely evil, but still very far from being good. I think chaotic neutral would suit him best. Still, this is only one half of his first story, and I still have plenty more to go over. In the meantime, though, I would like to hear your thoughts on this episode. Do you believe that Discord is quite as chaotic as he thinks he is? Would you classify him as an evil character at this point in the show? Do you think there could be more of a personal history between Celestia and Discord? Do you think changing his scene with Fluttershy would have made the episode any better or worse? I would like to hear your thoughts on these topics, and I hope that you will join me next time as I complete this two-parter review. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.